Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we begin by seeking the blessings of the Almighty for this morning's event. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we now invite Tuan Haji Suzeri to recite the doa.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Allahumma innaka khalaqul azim, innaka sami'ul alim, innaka ghafurur rahim, innaka rabbul arshil azim. Ya Allah, you are worthy of all praises, you are worthy of all gratitude. You are the Lord of the heaven and the earth, and to you all of us will return. Allahumma ya Karim ya Rahim, Ya Allah, with your mercy and protection, we are able to gather here in conjunction with the opening ceremony of the 10th International Green Tech and Eco Products Exhibition and Conference Malaysia, which is held this beautiful morning on the 10th October 2019, 11 Safar 1441. Allahumma, we beseech thee and grateful towards you in favor of all the infinite blessings to us, your humble servant, to live in safe and prosperous life. We also seek your flawless progress of this event from the beginning till the end. We seek your guidance to steer clear of events that would detrimental the progress of this priceless occasion. Ya Munzil al-Barakat, bestow peace to our beloved country, Malaysia. Preserve us from any threat and disaster, neither man-made nor natural disaster. And to you, Ya Allah, we seek security and prosperity upon us, our leaders, and our country, Malaysia. Bestow us patience in us in order to face the challenges from you. Please, Ya Rab, accept our deeds and please reward us accordingly. Only to you we rest all our affairs. You have no equal, surely all praise, bounty and dominion are yours. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين تقبل الله منكم.
Thank you very much, Tuan Haji Suzeri. Salam bahagia dan selamat pagi Yang Amat Berhormat Tun Dr. Mahathir bin Mohamad, the Prime Minister of Malaysia. Yang Berhormat Puan Yeo Bee Yin, the Minister of Energy, Science, Technology, Environment and Climate Change, MESTEC. Yang Berhormat Isna Raisah Munira Majlis, the Deputy Minister of MESTEC. Yang berbahagia Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Hazhar bin Haji Yahya, Secretary General of MESTEC. Yang berbahagia Profesor Dato' Engineer Dr. A. Bakar Jaafar, Chairman of the Malaysia Green Technology Corporation. Distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning and welcome to the International Green Tech and Eco Products Exhibition and Conference Malaysia, Igem 2019, which is the region's most successful green technology, business and innovation platform. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, we would like to extend our sincere appreciation to Yang Amat Berhormat Tun Dr. Mahathir bin Mohamad for so kindly gracing us with his presence this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, Igem has been recognized as a powerful platform that has successfully inspired impactful climate action and sustainable economic development by convening leading innovators, insightful speakers and policy influencers from across the world, with this year's 10th edition set to lead the way in innovating sustainability. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to invite Yang Berhormat Puan Yeo Bee Yin, the MESTEC Minister, to deliver this morning's welcome remarks.
Yang Amat Berhormat Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, Prime Minister of Malaysia, my colleagues in Cabinet, Yang Berhormat Khalid Samad, Yang Berhormat Rizwan, Deputy Minister Yang Berhormat Dr. Hatta Ramli, and my Deputy Minister, Yang Berhormat Puan Isna Raisa Munira Majlis, the Secretary General of MASTEC, Datuk Sri Azhar, MGTC, Malaysia Green Tech Chairman, Professor Dr. IR Abu Bakar, and ladies and gentlemen, good morning everyone. It is my pleasure to be here to welcome all of you to the opening ceremony of Igem 2019 with the theme Innovating Sustainability. First and foremost, on behalf of the Ministry of Energy, Science, Technology, Environment and Climate Change, MASTEC, Igem's conference and programs partners, I would like to extend our heartfelt appreciation to Yang Amat Berhormat Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, the Prime Minister of Malaysia, for graciously accepting our invitation to officiate the opening ceremony of Igem 2019. Tun, it is our honor and privilege to have you here with us today. I would also like to extend my sincere gratitude to Your Excellencies and many of our corporate leaders here and all the distinguished guests for joining us and being part of this milestone officiation as Igem celebrates its 10th anniversary today. Of course, whenever you have whenever you reach a milestone, you try to raise even higher targets for yourself. So Igem this year, we aim to have 2.8 billion in business leads with the exhibiting booth of 350, and we expect about 35,000 visitors from over 35 countries during these 3 days. Can we achieve this? Yes, but not by working alone. Therefore, on behalf of MASTEC, I wish to thank all the exhibitors, many of whom are returning exhibitors, some even for 10 years. You have become exhibitors, and also our conference partners, program partners. Many of them are embassies, business of chambers, our sponsors, members of the media, visitors, and many others who have supported Igem. I would also like to give special thanks to Igem's strategic partner, MIDA, and business matching partner, Mahathir, which organizes business matching, business networking, and investment sessions to achieve our 2.8 billion investment targets. I would like to encourage all of you here to take the opportunities to explore new ideas, new market, new business opportunity, and also new collaboration opportunities, whether it is between businesses or between business and academia or with non-profit organizations. I've always told our team in MASTEC that when we organize Igem, it is not about us showing off ourselves. It's about each of you who participate in it. How can we create value in your work? How can we create value in your work, whether it's in business, whether it is in policy makings or not-for-profit environmental initiatives, or advancing certain conversations, for example, climate change conversations or academic pursuit, or perhaps just to see what can your organizations do in terms of green agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia, in terms of climate change, Malaysia is one of the signatories of Paris Agreement. We have signed our Paris Agreement and give a national determined commitment of reducing our carbon emission intensity by 45% by 2030 relative to 2005 level. Carbon emission intensity is carbon emission per GDP growth. Out of this 45%, 35% is unconditional, 10% of which is conditional upon international support, for example, technical support, capacity building, or international financing. On this, I would like to draw your attention to one of the speeches that Tun has made during the recent United Nations General Assembly. I think this resonates a lot with us. Tun said this. He said that countries should spend their resources instead of combating each other. We should combat climate change. I would like to report today that Malaysia recorded 33% of carbon emission reduction, emission intensity of now. And we have 11 more years to go to reach our 45%. So I would say that we are at a very comfortable path towards achieving our target. Whenever you are comfortable, you are asked to do more. So United Nations has already came to reach out to us and see whether or not we want to review our national target, and we are actually trying to consider this option. And if we are going to renew the new target, if any, it will be announced in the United Nations Framework Convention of Climate Change, UNFCCC, in Glasgow, UK, in 2020 next year. So, as we prepare to combat climate change, there are two aspects that we need to look into. First is mitigation, and how do we reduce carbon emission to limit our temperature rise, global temperature rise by 2%. And Paris Agreement, and of course the whole UNFCCC, is to target to limit it and control it 1.5 Celsius. For us, in Malaysian context, is how do we play a part as a global citizen in the entire collective action of the entire world to help to reduce the carbon, to limit the carbon temperature, the temperature increase. The second thing that many people do not know is that climate change is also about adaptation, especially in developing countries. We are only emitting about 0.6% of the carbon emission of the entire world. No matter how much we cut, we are not going to be able to, in a direct term, save the world. We must be able to cut it and inspire others to cut as well, then to collectively be able to reduce our carbon emission. The second aspect that developing countries need to look at is on adaptation. How do we deal with the impact of climate change? As I said repeatedly in some of the dialogues I have with you yesterday, is that this increasing temperature is something that's inevitable. It is only that now we are collectively trying to limit the temperature increase. That will mean that how can we face the negative impact or the impact brought by a global warming at certain temperature rise? For example, what will be the impact to our rain pattern, the rising sea levels, the extreme weather, the impact to our shorelines, food chain, ecosystem, and many more? In fact, the World Economic Forum has identified climate change as one of the top financial risks facing by organizations. This putting ahead data fraud, theft, and also cyber attacks. Malaysia must take action now. To systematically address this issue, we must put in place institutional and regulatory framework on mitigation and adaptation. We need a climate change center of sort to coordinate climate change actions from data collection, risk analytics, international collaboration, climate reporting, to establishing framework of actions for different levels of governments, federal, state, and local, to inter-ministerial policies coordination. To keep our organization lean, instead of establishing yet another agency under MASTEC, and also need extra funding, we managed to optimize from within and repurpose one of the agencies under MASTEC to perform the functions of a National Climate Change Center. Later on, we will trouble our Prime Minister to actually announce the repurposing of this agency and the name behind it. But I just want to say that under this umbrella of National Climate Change Center, we will also form the National Coordination Council for Climate Adaptation and Mitigation in keeping with our promise in Pakatan Harapan Manifesto. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people think that climate change or green agenda is something that we need to put on extra money. It is expensive. But today, I just want to share with you a little bit of Malaysia's story. Of course, this story is still ongoing. I just want to share with you a little bit of Malaysia's story of how both of them are not mutually exclusive. Economic development and environmental agenda are not mutually exclusive. So I want to specifically share with you our policies on renewable energy. Last year, July last year, we have increased our national target of renewable energy in electricity generation mix by 20% by 2025, excluding large hydro above 100 megawatt. If we include large hydro, we will reach at about 40% if we reach this 20% target by 2025. This is again in accordance to our Pakatan Harapan Manifesto. To reach our RE targets, we need this. So we ask ourselves, how to reach these renewable energy targets? So we have the currently installed capacity of 2 gigawatt, and then if we go to business as usual, there is another 2.8 gigawatt coming up. So we need an additional of 4.1 gigawatt of renewable energy in our electricity generation mix, so to reach our 20% target. That would mean from now until 2025, we need to inject another 6.9 gigawatt of renewable energy in our electricity generation mix to meet our electricity demand. How do we go about it? At this moment, there are 3 government strategies to achieve this target. One is on net energy metering, second is on large-scale solar, and third is on feed-in tariff mechanism. I would like to elaborate a little bit with some of you because you are corporate leaders and some of your businesses may be related to this business. I would like to just share with you what is our progress and what is our plan to come. First, on net energy metering. Net energy metering is a policy that started in 2016, where the people can put on rooftop solar behind the meter, generate electricity, and sell it to the grid. But from 2016 until 2018, what we see is that the take-up rate is very low, because for a reason that what you sell to the grid, to TME, is a very low price, because they are using low carbon, they are using a displacement cost at 30%. So it doesn't make economic sense for many people. The take-up rate was not very good. So for some of you here who were in Igem last year, we announced a new net energy metering policy on a one-on-one offset basis. That means you sell and you buy at the same rate. This has made it a business case for many players, especially for the commercial and the industry. Coupled with our green investment tax allowance, where the government actually give tax allowance to capex expenditure in green, in solar spending, we actually see that the savings you can get from your electricity bill are very significant, and in 3 years' time, 2 to 5 years' time, you can actually get back the return of your investment in the capex of a solar. This is an example of how going green not necessarily hurt your pocket. This is an example where the government have policies and incentives that gives businesses and corporates a reason to go green. So for those of you corporate leaders here, if you have not explored net energy metering, do go to the website www.seda.gov.my, check out the NEM policies, we even have calculators for you there, and not all of you will make a business case or feasible for you, but many of you will find it one of your first steps that you can do is to join the net energy metering. After we have announced the change of net energy metering, we call it NEM 2.0, and also we also announced last year in Igem, where we renew and improve our solar leasing policies. We can see the new uptake rate. This shows for the past 3 years, from 2016 to 2018, the uptake rate for NEM is 3 times lower. Just in 3 months, 9 months, from 1st of January, when the new policies come into place, until today, we have recorded 3 times of an approved NEM capacity take-up rate than what was achieved for the past 3 years on the previous 3 years. So this shows that something we are gaining, there are a lot of momentum that we gain from net energy metering, and we are also seeing that there are a lot of people that are still interested. Some are already in the tender. I'll just give you an example. I've just launched 3 months ago a 2.5 megawatt of big solar on a rooftop of one of the companies. In just 6 months, we can get things done. So we hope that many of you will participate in this net energy metering, and we heard that one of the factories are actually going up to 12 megawatt. So there's really very exciting a lot of innovations are happening in net energy metering areas. I hope that some of you here who are interested can really look into that. The second one that we go into is large-scale solar. I want to point to you that there is some progress and improvement that we make on large-scale solar. We have started our bid. We have opened a tender at the beginning of the year. We just closed the bid. And we have done the price ranking, and now Energy Commission is doing a technical evaluation. The winners will be announced end of the year. But if you look at the lowest bids for LSS 3, large-scale solar round 3, you will see that on the price for the first 4 projects, which encompass 365 megawatt out of the 500 megawatt that we put up for tender, that you will see the price is lower than average gas generation cost. This is for the first time in the history of Malaysia, renewable energy is at a rate, a generation cost that is lower and cheaper than fossil fuel. I want to say that this is only the beginning. I want to say because that renewable energy is getting more mature, that it is not only making environment sense that we do this. We are doing this because it makes economic sense for many of us. And for the country, we want a more diversified electricity mix. We want a more affordable electricity mix. So next year, we are still going to open up another round of large-scale solar to meet our targets, and this one we will specifically on the specifications of the tender, we will continue to make sure that it drives down the cost. For some of you, it may not be the good news because your margin is going to be thinner and thinner, but it will continue to make sure that there is a criteria in it to further drive down the price of large-scale solar, and at the same time also we will give special attention to state land and also unusable land such as mining ponds, etc. So it's going to be very exciting next year for our large-scale solar scene as well. Of course, we do not forget on feed-in tariff mechanism. I have talked so much on solar. For some of you who are not in solar scene, do not worry. We continue to give feed-in tariff mechanism under there is a premium that the government pays to give to renewable energy, non-solar renewable energy such as biogas, biomass, geothermal, mini hydro, that will give you a premium on buying your electricity through our Renewable Energy Fund that is funded by under the Renewable Energy Act. So we will continue to fund feed-in tariff mechanisms. On feed-in tariff, we also made some progress for the past 1 year. Past 1 year, we have looked into our past feed-in tariff. For some of you who are in the field, you know that our RE funds are limited. So what we do is this. We go into the projects previously and see what are the non-performing ones. And we managed to cancel 389 non-performing projects that save us 2.16 billion ringgit, which we then open up another 160 megawatt of renewable energy for our biogas, biomass, and mini hydro players. And also for the first time, in order for us to increase, make sure that we have more quota on feed-in tariff to be given to other renewable energy types, we have started what we call the first time also in the history that we started e-bidding process, that you do competitive bidding on biogas. Last year we do for biogas. This year we do for biogas second round and also on mini hydro. This is so that everyone can bid into that. We get the lowest cost. That means we have more quota that we can release. These are all the things that at this moment we are doing to encourage solar and other types of renewable energy in Malaysia. Monetarily, how much is this? By opening up our renewable energy sector, Security Commission has done a study because we have commissioned them to do a study on investment and also on green financing. They have found out that it will, from now until 2025, with 6.9 gigawatt of renewable energy, we will attract 33.25 billion ringgit of private investment. That is a lot of money to invest, but at the same time, there is a lot of returns that you can get. So how do we go? The government wants to say, all right, this is private investment, but we also want to give incentives so that you can invest. So these are our enablers, 20% renewable energy enablers. Security Commission has just finished their study and given the report to Mastec, 21 actions item for us to do. We are now in progress. Overall, what we want to do is to make sure that investors in renewable energy have two things. One is certainty in policy, second is transparency. But this one is what we have at this moment on enablers, but we will continue to improve our process so that we will give you a peace of mind when you invest in renewable energy in Malaysia. At this moment, we have a couple of already ongoing, the one in yellow, GTFS, GITA, and GITE, Green Technology Financing Scheme. We have Green Investment Tax Allowance, Green Income Tax Exemption. All of these are already existing, and I heard that there will be good news as well tomorrow budget, but let's wait for tomorrow. But as of now, GTFS is to give partial loan guarantee and interest subsidy for renewable energy, for green players. GITA, as I've said just now, capex expenditure on green projects, green procurement are tax exempted, and also get tax deduction, and also for people who are in green business, actually some of them get tax exemption from the government. Again, for more information, go to www.seda.gov.my. But later on, the green one is what we were going to launch in Igem. On green tariff and renewable energy certificates. We have our TNB chairman, Tan Sri Leo Mogi, and also the CEO here. Later on, we will actually launch this in our messy conversation later at the same hall on green tariff and renewable energy certificates. What is green tariff and what is renewable energy certificates? And also renewable energy trading is later, it's after Igem, we will launch it end of the year, and also beginning of the year, we will then be able to do RE trading. But overall, what is that? What is those things? So we are seeing a trend that companies want to reduce your carbon emission. We have many multinational companies want to reduce carbon emission, carbon footprint, but there are many inevitable emissions. So what do? We need an offset to this, or we need to buy into green energy. So the green tariff is very straightforward. You buy through your electricity bill, you say, I want green energy, so I pay this price, and then you can minus off your carbon footprint. Renewable energy certificates is an offset. That means that you emit the carbon, you use electricity, and then you say, okay, today I want to offset my carbon emission. I go to this market to buy the certificates so to offset my carbon emission. This one will be made available through our platform, where this will be voluntary, but we are seeing this as a trend among multinational companies who have committed to be renewable energy 100%, RE100 companies. That will make possible in Malaysia in a very immediate term. And RE trading, it's that we are going to liberalize the network such that there will be trading 100% renewable. For example, you have a large-scale solar here, somebody wants to buy it here, you can then buy through the grid. Of course, we have to do it in phases, and then I will explain further later on in the messy conversation. All in all, is that not only that we would like to see that there will be investment, not only that we want to make sure that there is an ecosystem for it, but also we are looking into enablers so that investors, so that industry players can be more certain in what they invest in Malaysia. Overall, we estimated that by 2025, green sector can generate more than 100,000 employment, 47,000 of which are manufacturing, and the other 47,000 are from engineering and construction and commissioning, and 47,000 are from manufacturing. So this is, again, green from the government perspective. It's not only about cutting our carbon emission and meeting our Paris Agreement. It's really about that we want to generate a new growth area, a new jobs for our people in Malaysia. So from the perspective of carbon, for policymakers, of course, we are thinking that, do we replace just the solar, replace the fossil fuel jobs with green jobs? It is not true. This chart tell us this, that jobs created per gigawatt hour of energy generated with solar and coal and natural gas. You can see that the difference per gigawatt hour of generation. That would mean we are not replacing fossil fuel jobs. We are creating more jobs for the people of Malaysia and solar. We hope that with the reform in our electricity industry, as well as our target in renewable energy, we will be able to generate more jobs, more green jobs, higher qualified jobs for the people of Malaysia, and also from foreigners, foreign talents who want to be based in Malaysia. If you cannot remember everything I say because they are so full of numbers, I would like to bring home this, is that green industries is the new frontiers of growth, that we should not see green agenda as a saving the world agenda only. We should see this as not mutually exclusive. We want to save the world, at the same time we want economic growth. A lot of time, I am a MaxTech minister, environment minister. Always people are asking me to talk about sustainability. I say sustainable development, there are two words in it, sustainable and development. There cannot be sustainable development without development. And as a developing country, we must focus very on the place where there will be development. And I see, and I'm very convinced, last year, before I renew our agenda in net energy metering and solar leasing, I was theoretically convinced that green and economy are not mutually exclusive. After we see what happened in LSS, in our net energy metering, I'm now fully convinced that going green will also be good for business. It will be a new frontier for growth for Malaysia, creating more jobs, creating more investment for Malaysian and for our investors. And as the world faced with crisis, many of you are not in renewable energy, and I don't have time to go into energy efficiency or waste management. But it is the same philosophy or the same perspective I want to leave it with you, is that a lot of us say that this is a crisis faced by human beings, climate change, waste. This crisis in Chinese crisis is called 危机. Wei is danger, but ji is opportunity. So the questions to us in Malaysia is always, how do we turn crisis into opportunity to grow for Malaysia? And Malaysia aspire to be a renewable energy leaders in the region. We aspire to be a green hub, green economy hub, and green financing hub in the region. And this is our first step. And whatever I tell you today, I think it's only the beginning. Next year, we hope to give you better report cards, more inspiring stories, and we really hope that the government cannot do it alone. We really hope that all of us will come together and meet the agenda together with us, and that we will inspire the world to do better for the world. With that, I really want to thank you, and I'm sorry for taking your time, but I really hope that the next 1.5 days more, that you can spend more time speaking to people, speaking to our MaxTech staffs, and see what we can do together in order to make Malaysia a green country, a Malaysia of a green sector oriented countries, that it will be a new beginning, a new milestone, a new progress for all of us. With that, I will thank you, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yang Berhormat Puan Yobian, MaxTech Minister. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, 20 years ago, Yang Amat Berhormat Tun Dr. Mahathir bin Mohamad had planted the seed for the creation of a Centre for Renewable Energy in Malaysia, which later transformed into the Malaysia Green Tech Corporation. Igem, which has grown into the region's premier green energy exhibition, is a collaboration between MaxTech and the Malaysia Green Technology Corporation. Let's take a look at the past 10 years of Igem. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor to invite Yang Amat Berhormat Tun Dr. Mahathir bin Mohamad, the Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia, to deliver his address. Dipersilakan, Yang Amat Berhormat.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Yang berhormat Puan Yeo Bee Yin, Minister of Energy, Science, Technology, Environment and Climate Change, Cabinet Ministers, High Commissioners and Ambassadors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank the Ministry of Energy, Science, Technology, Environment and Climate Change, or MASTEC, for inviting me. It is indeed a pleasure to be here this morning, and welcome to all delegates to the 10th edition of the International Green Tech and Eco Products Exhibition and Conference, Malaysia, Igem. Thank you for being with us at this event, as we are at a critical juncture in human history when our voices and actions are needed most to address the very real issue of climate change. The thousands gathered here this morning and an estimated total of 35,000 visitors for IGEM 2019 are clear indication that apart from concerns in the preservation of the environment, there is a huge interest in the creation of a new frontier of growth for the nation and the region involving green businesses and green jobs. And in taking the path towards sustainable development, we need to ensure a clear balance of these three pillars: the economic growth, a resilient environment, and the well-being of society. Ladies and gentlemen, I would also like to commend Minister Yeo for making a bold decision in increasing the target of renewable energy in electricity generation mix to 20% by 2025, as promised in the Pakatan Harapan Manifesto. I am also pleased to see new policy policies such as net energy metering 2.0 has been gaining momentum. And for the first time in the history of Malaysia, in the current large-scale solar bidding exercise, we see the generation cost of solar power to be below the average cost of gas-generated power. Feed-in tariff mechanism also continues to support other types of renewable energy. More importantly, I am glad to see that instead of relying on public funds, MASTEC has embarked on creating regulatory framework that catalyzes private financing in the investment of renewable energy projects. Of course, nothing will be possible without money. It is a matter of where we source it, and in the case of the sustainable growth of green industry, it should be primarily fueled by private investments instead of public funds. MASTEC has worked on monetizing renewable energy attributes by creating traditional trading market for renewable energy certificates. Indeed, bringing in investment and creating market should be the way forward for business-friendly Malaysia. It was also earlier highlighted on MASTEC's efforts to reform the power sector through the Malaysia Electricity Supply Industry, or MESI 2.0 Master Plan. The reforms will see enhanced efficiency of the market structure of power industry through increased competition across the value chain, future-proofing the power industry, as well as empowering consumers by democratizing and decentralizing the electricity supply industry. I look forward to the tabling of new laws such as Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act and Environment Protection Act in the Parliament to institutionalize the green agenda under the Pakatan Harapan government. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme for this three-day event is Innovating Sustainability. As a government, we are committed to be innovative in policy making, allowing maximum rooms for private businesses to innovate to gain profits in a business-friendly ecosystem of green industry, as well as empowering private individuals and NGOs to innovate to pursue their respective green initiatives in Malaysia. I would also like to highlight that we will be celebrating the 10th year anniversary of the Malaysian Green Technology Corporation. This agency under MESTEC was set up to catalyze the green technology uptake in this country. It gives me great pleasure in commemorating this 10th anniversary by rebranding this agency to Malaysian Green Technology and Climate Change Center, or MGTCCC. This move is consistent with the PH government's commitment to keep the civil service lean and to reduce expenditure by optimizing delivery. Under Malaysian Green Technology and Climate Change Center, we will also establish National Council of Climate Change Action as promised in the Pakatan Harapan Manifesto. Ladies and gentlemen, on climate change, I believe we must get our message clear, especially on this pressing issue of climate change, as I had said at the recent 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. What we are experiencing in terms of extreme temperatures, natural disasters, and unpredictable weather patterns is something we cannot afford to take lightly. Our current situation is urgent and critical. It may not just be because we are generating more heat through our activities. It may be part of a cycle that this planet goes through the ages. Many cities across the world are facing extreme heat or extreme cold as never before. There are several cities around the world that are facing possible submergence owing to the rising sea levels. We are, in fact, in a time of climate emergency. Malaysia has to act now. We must do our part in climate change by reducing carbon emission, as well as what we have committed in the Paris Agreement, and preserving our forests, our carbon sink, as accorded to our Rio Pledge, in accordance with our Rio Pledge. It is important that we gear the country to be climate change resilient and ready to face the impact of climate change, such as rising sea level, disruption to food chain, health care, and others. A National Climate Change Center is required to do climate change-related data collection, risk analytics, policy coordination among different levels and aspects of government to ensure Malaysia does not only survive, but thrive as the globe inevitably becomes warmer into the future. Ladies and gentlemen, over the past couple of decades, green economy has emerged as a strategy priority to transform economies into drive of sustainability. The green economy is typically characterized by being efficient, clean, circular, collaborative, and emitting low carbon. In addition, the UN Environment Programme, or UNEP, launched a program of global research and country-level assistance, called the Green Economy Initiative, or GEI. It was designed to steer us policymakers to support environmental investments. What is even more promising to the investment and business community globally is that this contribution could increase from its present 6% to 10% of global market value by 2030. The study found approximately 3,000 globally listed companies with exposure to the green economy. This number has risen by approximately 20% since 2009 and covers 30% of global listed market value. With such big promises being called for globally, the opportunities for Malaysia to take the lead and make a positive impact on the economic growth are enormous. Ladies and gentlemen, on Malaysia's side, we express our commitment along with 193 other countries to support and implement the 2030 Agenda and Sustainable Development Goals at the United Nations General Assembly in New York. The Sustainable Development Goals, or SDG, officially known as Transforming Our World, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, sets out an ambitious plan of action for the people, the planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership with the objective of leaving no one behind. Malaysia will continue with the periodic voluntary national review report as a testimony to our continued commitment to achieve the 2030 Agenda and the Sustainable Development Goals. In turn, this will help to ensure that no one is left behind and every Malaysian has an equitable share in the prosperity and wealth of this nation, in line with our philosophy of shared prosperity. On the environmental conservation side, Malaysia has introduced numerous policies and measures such as the National Climate Change Policy, National Policy on Biological Diversity, National Green Technology Master Plan, and many more to ensure we grow in a sustainable manner. As a long-standing proponent of balancing environmental conservation, technology, innovation, and economic prosperity, Malaysia's progress has been underpinned by a dynamic, innovative ecosystem and affirmative institutional support. I am pleased to share that Malaysia was ranked 35th out of 128 countries in INSEAD's Global Innovation Index 2016 and recognized as Innovation Achiever for 2011-2014. Encouraged by these, the country has further ramped up developing an innovative ecosystem to support new startups, scale up enterprises, and attract investments. To garner greater inclusivity, we have promoted innovation at the grassroots level using a bottom-up approach to cater to local demands for sustainable ideas, products, and services. Ladies and gentlemen, as 2020 approaches, Malaysia is committed to implementing these strategic long-term approaches and rising with the sustainability wave. For a start, we will be hosting the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Leaders Summit, APEC 2020, with initiatives starting next month onwards. This will be the second time we are hosting the APEC Summit here, decades after the first one that we hosted in 1998. APEC has undeniably played one of the most influential roles for Malaysia, where it started liberalizing to initiate free trade and investments. I am pleased to share that we will be showcasing our country to the world through the Visit Truly Asia Malaysia 2020, a landmark campaign led by the Ministry of Tourism and is targeted to bring in 30 million international tourists and over 100 billion Malaysian ringgit inbound revenue. As we step out and reach out to the world, 2020 will also mark the 50th year of our participation in World Expos, right from the time we participated at Osaka in 1970, showing what we have progressively achieved and what we have to offer to the world. It has been tremendously eye-opening as we expose ourselves to the best of what each country has to offer in terms of innovations and inventions. Malaysian companies, businesses, and individuals are encouraged to participate in full force at the upcoming Expo 2020 Dubai, led by Mestec, and help the Malaysian Pavilion achieve its purpose of energizing sustainability across all sectors. I'm glad to see that Malaysian Pavilion has lived up to its theme by making our pavilion the first net zero carbon pavilion in Dubai Expo 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great hope that this International Green Tech and Eco Products Exhibition and Conference Malaysia, Igem, can be further amplified to be a very important platform to spur green industry in the region, as well as providing solutions for climate change towards more resilient planet. With this, it gives me great pleasure to officially open Igem 2019. I wish you all success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yang Amat Berhormat. We invite Yang Amat Berhormat to kindly remain on stage. We now invite Yang Berhormat Puan Yeo Bee Yin and the VIP entourage to the stage for the launch of Igem 2019 and the rebranding of the Malaysia Green Technology Corporation. Yang Amat Berhormat, we invite you to touch the touch screen on the TimeTech HUBot at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, the Malaysian Green Technology Corporation, the co-organizer of Igem, is now the Malaysian Green Technology and Climate Change Centre. We now take a moment for a group photograph on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in a big round of applause of our appreciation to Yang Amat Berhormat Dr. Mahathir bin Mohamad for so kindly gracing us with his presence this morning and launching Igem 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, we now invite Yang Amat Berhormat to Dr. Mahathir bin Mohamad, accompanied by Yang Berhormat Puan Yeo Bee Yin, to visit the Igem 2019 exhibition area. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Kindly remain at your seat until Yang Amat Berhormat has exited the ballroom.